If you are a woodworker, you might be triggered by this video. I'm going to use a Thunder laser as a table saw. Hey guys, Sam here. Welcome back to Samcraft. And yes, hopefully you are ready for this because I'm about to show you how to use a Thunder laser as a table saw. I'll tell you why if you stick around. To be totally honest and shift the blame game a little bit, I was inspired by my friend Matt, who has a YouTube channel, Laser Engraving with Matt, on doing this. I probably would not have thought about the benefits of this had it not been for his most recent video. So there'll be a link to Matt's video down below. He is who you should direct all blame to. It's his fault for making the video, showing me the light, so to speak, that now results in me also making a video. So make sure you go say hey to Matt, tell him thanks for the great idea, or fuss at him over this horrible trend he is guilty of starting. With my conscience clear, let's now jump over to the computer, which we have to start with Lightburn first and design ourselves a cut file of sorts and allow us to break down the sheet goods. First thing to do, if you don't already have this set up, is to create a cut file to allow you to slice your material into the sizes that you want. At first you may think, okay, draw a rectangle and make it what I want, but you don't necessarily have to do that. Remember, your material is already rip cut. Okay, at least in my case, it's been rip cut at the hardware store, so my width is exactly what I need. I don't need to touch it. The only thing I need to do is make a cross cut across the sheet of plywood to become whatever depth or distance front to back I want my sheets to be. In that sense, all I really need to do is have the laser cut one straight line all the way across. So here in Lightburn, I'm going to select the line tool. I'm going to click once. As I move my cursor around, you can see the line is following me. I'm going to press the shift key on my keyboard, and that's going to lock it into a horizontal, or if I go further enough, vertical, or in the middle, 45-degree angle. So let's keep it horizontal, go about that far, and then click the mouse again to set my point. And then now it's wanting to draw another one. I'm just going to press escape on my keyboard, and that releases it, giving us just a plain line. So we're going to press escape here a couple of times. It puts us back to our cursor selection. What I'm going to do now is select the line, and I'm going to set it for the width of my piece, or at least the machine's max width. Here on the Thunder, that is 900 millimeters. So I'll go up here to width, type in 900, press enter. Now we have ourselves a nice big line. With our line selected, I'm going to go up to the toolbar, click on this little plus sign, go down to where it says move to bottom. That puts the line down at the bottom of my working space. I'm going to reselect it, go up here and move my, what is this, resize point to the far left. And now I'm going to choose my X position of 0 and press enter. What that puts it is at the very bottom of the workspace. Now I know it is at the very extent that the laser will cut, which is what I want. I want the largest size sheet as possible. With the line down here, we could preview it, make sure we just have a straight line. Looks good. We'll go ahead and close that preview. Next thing to do is to set the speed and power settings. So for me, I'm going to go down to library. I'll expand the Thunder Nova library, the material I've got, select my cut preset, and click on assign. If you don't have your settings set as a library, you can punch them in here, whatever you need to do. Just make sure that is set to the settings you have tested that work well for cutting this material in a single pass. Or I guess you have a smaller machine and whatever number of passes it needs to be. Make sure you set that. Looks good. So the next thing I'm going to do is make sure the start from, it can either be user origin or absolute coordinates. For me, I want to use user origin, it's just easiest. From here, click on send. And I'm just going to name this cut. It doesn't really matter because I'll pull it up on the laser. We're all done in Lightburn now, so let's move you guys over to the machine. Since I chose user origin for this, I want to show you where and how I'm going to move the laser head, set my origin on the machine, then we'll get some material loaded up and actually cut it. Over here at the machine, what I've done in preparation is to remove the pass-through door on the front of the machine. It's sitting here to the side. And I have also focused my bed, raised it, lowered it, whatever I need to do for the material I'm going to be bringing in. For me, this is pretty easy because I have a lot of scraps of the same exact material. I just put it over here, run the auto-focusing procedure, and we're good to go. Right here at the Thunder, we have the control board, and I also have the laser head in this shot so you can see what's going on as I press buttons. The first thing I want to do is set my origin, because I did not choose absolute coordinates, which is where the laser is right now. I want to bring it all the way forward, the full extent, and then all the way to the left, and I'm going to set that as my origin. So first thing to do, make sure it's all the way to the left. Looks good, it's not moving. Now I'm going to hold this down arrow, it's going to bring the whole gantry forward, and I'm going to go until it stops. There we go. So now I'm going to press origin here on the keypad, and that's it. That is now my user origin. If I move this laser anywhere, as long as I press escape here, it takes it right back to the home point, which is exactly where I want to go. Now on the keypad, I'm going to load up the file. So I'm going to press the file button. I'm going to highlight the file we just sent over, press enter. It loads it up on the screen, and now I'm going to press frame, and what I expect this laser to do is just move from the left side all the way across to the right and go right back. This gantry should not move anywhere on my Y-axis. I only want to see movement on the X. So the origin is set, framed our job, which, you know, not much going on there, but it's just a line. That looks great. The next thing I'm going to do is grab my handful of these little hold down clips, put them in my honeycomb bed near the back, not all the way back there, but pretty close to it, so that as I slide the plywood in here, I've got a positive stop that should be aligned and parallel or perpendicular enough to where we can run this job and end up with fairly square edges. At this point, the file is correct, the origin is correct. I have my hold down pins at the very back to act as a fence or reference point for me. My front pass-through door has been taken off, and I have one of my sawhorses right here on the floor, which just so happens to be almost perfect on the height, so that I can lay this long sheet of plywood on top of the bed and on top of the sawhorse to support it properly while we cut the job. So I think we are ready to go ahead and run this. Since this is my very first time ever doing this, I'm not going to put one of the good pieces in there. I'm going to put one of these guys. This is the 13-inch wide offcut from whenever I had the material rip cut at Home Depot. We'll go ahead and cut this, make sure it looks correct, then we'll load in the real sheets and do those as well. Okay, I'm going to turn on my exhaust fan all the way, close the lid, and we'll run this job. One thing I will do, since this is not as wide as I need, once the laser gets past this piece, I'm going to go ahead and stop the job. That way I don't just send the laser out there for no reason. That worked perfect. Perfectly clean cut, easy to do, and a good first test. I'm going to measure this. This might actually be an appropriate size to put into the X-Tool P2. So let's see what kind of sheet I've got. Maybe I'll get lucky. I don't know, it's going to be pretty close. It's about 23 3/8 wide and 13 inches deep. But let's go try it out. Maybe it'll fit. Oh, I don't know. Actually no, it fits. This piece is just so warped. It's a potato chip. But no, that actually does fit. That is nice. So it means these offcuts from the store will work perfect for the P2. So it's not a total scrap or waste. Awesome. I'm going to bring you guys in closer. You'll be able to see how much clearance I got on the front rail. While you're here, if you're wondering what this white piece is, that's an acrylic piece that I cut. This is a fence that I made for the P2. I've been working on a video for the fence and a lot of jigs, but the fence is great. It's perfect. The jigs I've been tweaking a lot lately. There'll be a video on that pretty soon, something you can buy as far as a cut file. But this guy, super worth it. I want to be very clear to you guys that I'm not putting my hands anywhere inside the machine until the job is done and the green light turns on the Thunder laser up top. Even though I pause the job here, I press escape. Until those 3 beeps happen, I don't put my hands in here. You still hear the air assist running. That's normal with this machine. I just want you to know that that doesn't mean the laser beam is on. I'm not doing anything like that. It might not be clear on camera, so I just wanted to make it clear by explaining it to you. Well, there's the easy ones. Those are my 13-inch wide offcuts from having the big 4x8 sheets rip cut at the store. Now let's go out there, let's get the real ones. These have been rip cut to a 35-inch width, which will fit great on the Thunder. And let's go ahead and chunk those up into their sizes to make me some big blanks for the Thunder to cut later. Alright, I'm going to do a framing job to make sure it will go all the way left to right. Awesome. Looks great. We'll go ahead and run this guy. I will not be pausing and stopping and pressing escape on this one. We'll let the full job run on its own. First full sheet of the birch plywood went great, no problems at all. The only problems I'm running into is that the pieces are bowed, which what plywood is not. So as I put them in, it kind of gets caught on the honeycomb bed a little bit here and there off the corners. The cool thing about the Thunder, it compared to other honeycomb beds that I've had experience with, this honeycomb bed is thick. It is strong. You're not going to bend those fins. Other machines, small diodes and stuff that I've had, yeah, you'd want to baby them, but the Thunder is tough. The other thing you're probably wondering is, wow, with that front door taking off that machine, I bet you are huffing and puffing in that smoke, aren't you? Honestly, no, and I am surprised at that, but it's a good thing. The 6-inch exhaust fan that I have plumbed into here is just a little bit more powerful than the default one you get with the Thunder, but I also have it hooked up to more machines than just the Thunder. And yes, the blast gate on my P2 is probably still open. So hey, as far as smoke extraction, I have no complaints. It is doing great. I want to take a second and address the questions and the comments that have probably already been left. The ones that say, this is ridiculous. Why are you using your laser to cut wood? That's what circular saws are for. Get a track saw. It's so much easier. You have precise cuts. Use your table saw. Yeah, those are options, but those are dirty options. This is an option that is geared towards people with lasers. Maybe you don't have all those other tools. Or maybe like me, you rather have precise cuts that are finished edges than the more splintery cuts you are prone to get, or not straight cuts that you yourself give when you use those handheld saws. The point of this video is to show you that you could use your laser to break down sheet goods to where they are more matched for your machine and save you money. Buying pre-cut laser sheet goods can be expensive depending upon your source. And while this stuff is not true Baltic birch, which I do purchase from an online supplier, it is still an affordable, economical solution. And using the laser is a much cleaner job as well. The only thing you have to contend with is wood smoke, which is a normal thing in a laser shop anyway. I am not a woodworker. I don't call myself a woodworker. Yes, I have done stuff in the past. I do have the tools where I could do that, but I'm primarily a laser cutter, laser engraver, and CNC work type guy. That's just the stuff I like to do. So my workshop is not set up with that stuff at all. It is not set up as a woodworking shop, and it never will be. It does have the lasers in here, which are very sensitive to sawdust, and those two do not play nice together. So for me, this is a good solution. This is a solution that I like, and one that I will be keeping. But again, it's just me. I'm not saying this has to be what you do. I'm not saying you even have to agree with it. This is a cool idea that I got from my friend Matt, and I wanted to pass along to you guys too. That worked great. Yes, it was a little bit of labor, but honestly, I would rather do this any day, every day, than use a table saw. I'm not covered in sawdust. I didn't inhale a bunch of wood fibers, and it was nice, clean, straight cuts. I'm able to use these straight off the laser, perfectly fine, use them as reference edges, get my cuts and materials closer to the edge, and use more of the material in the end, which honestly is the name of the game. Material is not super cheap, so the absolute most you can get out of each piece is money back in your pocket. I think I've yammered on about this subject long enough. If you're still here, thank you. I really appreciate you. If you got any questions or comments, leave them for me down below. Also, take a look down below. There'll be links to these two material pieces that I purchased from Home Depot. In case you have a Home Depot close to you, you might want to check them out and give them a shot. Otherwise, thanks for watching as always. Take care, and I'll see you the next time in the workshop.